Welcome back, my friends. We are here in week 3 of the Nocturnal Prospect Cup. We're headed to the Western Division here for our second series as the Dojo taking on Regen, trying to fight for their way into the playoffs.
Yeah, Dojo, of course, very much up against it here. We'll have to do a monumental task of beating Regen out.
Yes,
Undefeated team, been doing great in tournaments of late. The Fran Cup, the Solstice, like they've been around. They got further in the third Impact tournament. Like they're getting to that place where we can consider them a very heavy contender for trials and potentially contenders next season. Or next iteration around. So they're getting warmer and warmer as time goes on. And the Dojo, obviously, they want to get to that same spot. The question is, are they there yet? Can they beat a team like Regen? Will Regen potentially take the foot off the gas a little bit because they're already qualified in their group? There's all these question marks that come arising in that case, and factors that can come into play that when you look at a match like this, Dojo should be the hungrier team.
Absolutely. I mean, will that drive be enough to overcome the star-studded power Regen brings to the table? They've got Ship in that off-tank role who's just been an absolute beast. Cool ABC, one of the best Mays we've seen in the Tier 3 seed, and just an all-round fantastic DPS player. This is certainly a David versus Goliath story here, if I've ever seen one, Classy.
Yeah, it's very much one of those that we're looking at. We're going to start with Oasis here. And both these teams have very different approaches to what they like to run. We see the Dojo, and we look at their team sheet, they're very much more accustomed to playing something like a Rein Zarya, whereas Regen does feel like more of a meta team in a lot of situations. They are, of course, more in that closer to that trials contenders type of level that we look at. So it would be expected for them to go more with the meta. They're not a team like Avoided that just avoids the meta at all costs. So it should be a fairly standard lineup from them, but then it's really going to be up to Dojo to run something different or the same and run it better.
Of course, here in Oasis, much like other control maps, you do have little micro metas built in, so we're not getting double shield just yet. At least that's not what the teams are showing us. Reinhardt gonna be on the playing field for both sides if the teams decide to stick with this. Getting the Symmetra May from the Dojo, while it looks like McCree and May coming out from Regen.
Yeah, it's mainly going to be a difference in the tank line, of course. Ship and Lava will be on the Reinhardt Diva, or Spice and Economy on the Reinhardt Zarya. And we will see the Hanzo swap come out, as well as CJ Nifikins challenging it out on that Moira versus the Baptiste.
Well, our second series has begun. It's going to be Dojo trying to plant their feet on the objective first. The undefeated Regen working around the outside, kind of poking and prodding, searching for signs of weakness. Seems like they found it as they go diving in, putting pressure down on the Reinhardt. Economy goes down, back into spawn with Yi. Nice shooting coming from Chopper. A little follow-up from Cool ABC finds second kill. Headshots from Chopper to help clean things up, and a very clean first fight here for Regen.
Very nicely done. Good wall came out from Cool ABC. Prodigy almost had it. Couldn't quite manage to swap off that Lava tank. Lava did a great job of just turning around 180 and charging back into Economy. Because it was a double wall that came out. And it was very hard for them to really get a team follow-up on Lava as a tank.
Chopper doing work already 85% towards that Deadeye. Cool ABC waiting on the side to wall off the team, but Dojo ready for it, put up a wall of their own to try to allow the entrance, but it's not enough. Early Earthshatter coming out, finds Economy, and the main tank goes down. Chopper falls with a beautiful shot, laying waste with the Peacekeeper, and 2 quick picks make that 3 there for Regen.
The walls so far have just been so much more impactful from Cool ABC. They usually even put up the second wall as well. They're not even initiating with the wall. In this late call, the Spice will help. But if you're not able to put up the first wall and then get a play out of that, get initiation out of that, you will usually just lose the fight, and most likely the map after that. The ults are in their favor now, though. It's going to be up to the Dojo to use these ultimates in the correct fashion in order to actually win this next fight, because they should be able to.
We're going to Deadeye to start things off here from Regen. Just gonna keep Dojo at bay for the moment. Spice picking up the kill on the Cool ABC. That's a good start. As cool as he had the Blizzard ready to go. Now not applicable in this fight. Wall to separate the Reinhardt from the healers. Pressure coming down. Immortality Field doesn't make it over that wall. And then here comes the Blizzard from Prodigy, Sound Barrier, and Ant Matrix all thrown in. 3 ults invested. Can Dojo get this flip? So far, no kills, no value coming through from the 3 ultimates thrown in. And now it's Regen's turn to respond. Cool ADC countering with the Blizzard of their own. 2 kills on the board. The Graviton surge from the Dojo. Not enough to get them back in this fight.
No, they just couldn't lock them down. That Blizzard was almost in a good spot, but couldn't quite freeze a few targets with follow-up. And then the ultimates on the other side, they just get more value. The Blizzard frees up the Reinhardt, and Lava is just able to stand his ground with the Moira behind them while the Graviton comes out. There's just all these small things, these small timing issues that Dojo is having. It's not a huge difference. It's just the walls, the ultimates, and the initiation timing that are slightly off, and that, you know, there's perfectly reacted to by Regen.
Now heading into City Center. Regen sticking with that Mei, looking for more of that fantastic wall usage. Looks like Chopper going over to the Torbjorn. Nope, changed his mind. Go into the Symmetra. So we'll get some strats from both sides. Both teams looking to race to the objective. We'll see who gets there first. Looks like Dojo coming out with the Zarya ball composition. And that's going to allow them a little bit more speed, but they're not going to have the point presence that the double shield provides here for Regen.
Yeah, double shield doesn't want to stand on the point though. They want to stand that staircase on the road side of this point, and yeah, it's going to be up to the Dojo to poke and prod away at that and find a way into them to pick something off. And Berserky takes out a turret. Not much else just yet.
Economy going in with a big push, threatening to throw Regen out into traffic. But they're not quite able to find what they're looking for. Berserky does, though, takes down the Baptiste. Immortality Field gone. Now Economy coming in with a big slam, and Mei goes back to spawn. Lava joining the Ice Queen back there. And Economy does eventually knock somebody into traffic. Torbjorn just standing out there awaiting his feet.
I think we're going to see some swaps coming out here for the side of Regen. CJ's gone over to the Moira, doesn't want to stick on the Baptiste and will get caught out like that. Everyone else does seem to be sticking on what they were running before. Not a real swap coming out. It will probably just be an execution play. So they'll change the way that they deal with this ball. They want to focus down something. They want to not get flanked by the soldier as much. So they'll probably have a mindset adjust like what is actually we're running into.
Prodigy with the Gidget Blade online. See if they can get past the Torb Mei defense here. Nano not quite ready to go, so I'm curious if he's going to hold on to it and wait for that Nano boost. Mine's coming out from Economy, but it's not enough to protect the team. Nifkin goes down first, so they don't have that extra brig healing. No rally there for them, and it's just a kind of a slow-paced fight. Okay, here comes the Nano Blade. It's go time. Both teams put the pedals on the Nano Blade from one side. Nano Blade coupled with Attack Visor. It's the Attack Visor finding a pair of kills. 2 for each team, as a matter of fact, as we're at a 4v4 here on the objective. Despite that, Regen flipping this point over. Economy touching it just the last second to prevent the cap. Yes, sir. Rally thrown in, and now Dojo trying to come in and strike back, but they got to get past this Blizzard of Regen.
They really do, but no one's really frozen up because they've got so much mobility tools on their side. They can jump away, walk away, climb away, and it's all still up to Regen to start trying to flip this point. The sustain, especially mobility, is just huge.
Economy couldn't roll away fast enough, unfortunately, for Dojo. And Regen might eventually flip this thing, but darn it if Dojo didn't do a great job of buying percentage.
They did. They were very conservative with their ultimates in the end. Their Regen, they knew they were eventually going to win that fight, so they did save 3, almost 4 ultimates here. And there will be some online on the other side. Not a Nano Blade again. It will just be a clean Dragon Blade, and then as well the tank ultimates. Especially if you're able to somehow combo the Graviton with either the Blade or the Mines, could be huge.
Early Dramatic Flux picks off significant bubble use to save Paradox. Economy striking back, and it's a 5v5 as Dojo looking to push in, just needing one fight win to take this and tie up Oasis. Coalescence used from Regen. Gonna keep Dojo at bay for another moment. And now the Molten Core coming in. We're not seeing those combos that you're talking about from Regen. Let's see if Dojo can utilize that Graviton Surge Blade. And it looks like they're going to wait for Paradox to get that Nano online.
They already drew like 3 or 4 ultimates out now from Regen, so they're in a good place here. Nice grab. Will get countered by the sound barrier, but it's a 1-for-1 trade so far.
And that means there's nothing left to counter this Nano Blade coming out now. Prodigy going in, Katana in his hands, ready to go. Finds one, but the Blizzard, that's the counter that Regen needed, shutting Prodigy down. Regen maintaining control.
Economy as well gets frozen up. They're not quite dead yet, but there they'll go. And now it's going to be last fight territory, 74% and counting very soon. There will be a supercharger online here for Regen that are going to be defending this. But there will be attack visor and a rally most likely from Nificance coming online as well with Coalescence of CJ. So it's a fairly even exchange, but that supercharger usually wins you fights, and there already gets the Hedgehog and the Paradox. That one-shots with that supercharger.
It's a nasty icicle and an unfortunate start for Dojo. Both DPS very low. Paradox back in spawn.
That's the issue.
Yeah.
That's forever with his Wrecking Ball.
And he's going to go ahead and land himself on the objective. You know, Economy pushing in, dropping over. Oh, so much focus fire. It doesn't last long enough. Now attack visor coming out on the side. Well, no, that is not going to be enough either. Chopper finding a pair of kills on the Reaper. The ults just not finding the value that Dojo needs. And it's up to Regen to clean up and take this 2-0 victory on Oasis.
They're able to do that as well, 2-0 for Regen, and it got a bit more tricky on that second point, but on that first point of Oasis, they look completely dominant, and as soon as they sort of figured out that they could just shut down the Wrecking Ball very hard, there was no way that they were ever going to come back into it. I don't think it was in the Reaper for that long. It's literally just that overtime fight.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was a great
Imagine that.
A great
I think that kind of also shows how little big plays there were really made in this round. It was all very timid, very vanilla, very standard Overwatch that was being played from Regen, and they just kept getting kills, not these huge Dragon Blade plays that we saw. Like even was it Prodigy couldn't really get that out with the Dragon Blade, with the Nano Blade even. So all these singular kills, these double kills here and there, that really leads to a very standard and sort of clean, easy play of Overwatch. Because when you see the multi-kills come out, that's when it's either not enough team play or not enough necessity for team play. So Regen still has to work together, but they don't have to work together to the degree that they can just send in a Genji and get 3K. That's not really their style.
No, Regen playing very disciplined indeed. And I loved that. I loved their use of ultimates. I mean, using the Blizzard to shut down the Nano Blade, not looking to get the massive team wipe, not looking to get, anything flashy, just very smart use of ultimates. And I expect to see that same amount of discipline as this series continues.
Yeah, it's about the intelligence, so like how to use the ultimate, but also don't you use too many. And I think they did a really good job of not using too many a lot of the time. So going into Blizzard World here, it's a very different map than Oasis. I mean, it still has some open areas here and there, but it's not as either enclosed as we saw on University, nor as open and stally as we saw on City Center there. So you could argue that maybe the last point of Blizzard World is a little bit more enclosed, but there's still a lot that happens in a more Kings Row-esque way than it does in University. So we will see, both teams obviously come out with a comp that they're hopefully comfortable with. Will we see the Bastions? That could really be fun. So I think that Dojo might actually do this. And the reason why I think that is because we've seen them run some, I would say unorthodox, well, maybe unorthodox, some different things before. We saw the Zarya come out with a Wrecking Ball in the last point of City Center there, which is something we've seen them run before, which really plays upon the fact that if you use that Zarya bubble continuously, you will be able to send something in almost for free, and then they'll have another, so good on a Wrecking Ball, for instance, but also on a Genji sometimes. Now they won't run, they will still run it on their attack. So this Bastion on the defense from Cool ABC, I don't know if it's because they're expecting this, but they are running basically the double strat. So double turret, double shield, double support is obviously always a thing, but like double sustain really.
Yeah,
with the rally and the rally fields.
Regen taking their double to the high ground here, setting up a Griffin. Looks like Dojo, who's now on the attack and who have chosen this map, are going to rotate around, go force Regen off of Griffin. Wrecking Ball going up there, and it's time for them to converge onto that Bastion. Immortality Field comes out to keep him alive momentarily, but it doesn't last long. Fortify forced out, so many cooldowns thrown in from Regen, and they still lose their Bastion in the process. That's a good sign for Dojo as they continue to push in, find the kill onto Magic 8 Ball, and with a 2-hero advantage, there they go onto the objective, finding the kill onto Chopper, and it's just clean up from here.
Yeah, the Dojo has this very nice alternative tank line in the Wrecking Ball and that Zarya, and it's working out well for them when teams don't really seem to see it coming, which Regen, I don't think they were expecting this to be a team that runs that on more than just City Center. And it worked out well. You know, they used the bubble, send their Wrecking Ball and get the first pick as a result. Berserky's now on the Ashe, gets a lot of value. Prodigy on that Genji already has the Blade, but I don't think they'll be using it now with the tanks going down that easy.
No, Cool ABC was in a tough spot. The rest of Regen just showing up in the nick of time to save their Mei player.
We'll now, of course, see a very aggressive hold come out here. Don't want to give that Wrecking Ball space to move around in. And also, no, they don't really have any barriers, so coming out of spawn can be tricky in and of itself, but not with the Nano Blade.
Prodigy finds one, binds two, and that's bow support down. Falls into a nice kill onto Ship as well. There goes Lava, and Cart start making its way here through Street's face.
That's what we call a team kill, and it's nice that they're able to straight away come out of that spawn and do that. That they don't have to spend like 3 or 4 fights and 5 ultimates to actually get out of spawn, like we sometimes see happen on like Havana when teams get spawn camped on first there. There will be some ultimates missing, but they'll still have about 4, which is the same number that is ready on the defense, because they just swapped CJ back over to the Moira, because they just don't want to get caught out by that Wrecking Ball on the Baptiste.
Wrecking Ball goes in first. Berserky picks off CJ. And now a lot of healing missing economy. He's not phased by that turret up there. Still just going and wreaking havoc on the high ground. Meanwhile, in the front line, Orisa dropping down, throwing bongos and the Molten Core from Regen. But oh my goodness, Nivekins! She finds a 3K with the Brig. Mace to the face, Cart full speed ahead.
And Spice is always so high charged on that Zarya as well. It's so hard to not shoot the bubbles when you want to burst down a target. That's usually the rule, right? You can shoot the bubble, but only if you kill the hero afterwards.
Yeah, because 4.5 meters left to go. Zephyron's Surge still available. Oh, gets eaten! Right into Ship's kinetic grasp. He says, thank you very much. That was tasty. And now, using newfound energy, takes a Spice down out of the mix. What a play from Ship on the Sigma there.
Did it show a Dragon Blade icon instead of the Graviton icon? That was eaten?
I saw as well, yeah.
Yeah, that was weird. You know what? It's an indie game. I get it. So it's okay. But we will see the ultimates. I mean, I think both teams have been very disciplined with their ultimates here, because Siege and Cool ABC will still have theirs, but you still have Berserky, Prodigy, and Paradox with their ultimates. This Nano Blade could be huge. Meanwhile, there's the ball rolling around, trying to stop by Cool ABC. But what's going to happen here? What is Prodigy going to be able to do with this blade?
If Cool ABC maintains the same pattern, we're just going to see the Blizzard come out. It's exactly what happened. Using the Blizzard to zone out the Nano Blade. And nevertheless, Prodigy's able to find a pair. Cool ABC does eventually take him down, but it's a one-man lead for the Dojo as they look to find these last few meters on point B. The big Omnic Butler coming into the field. The extra man coming in very handy here for the Dojo.
And it's such a good adaptation. They were sort of expecting this Blizzard to come out against the Nano Blade again. So you do see Prodigy play fairly safe with that Blade. Just gets the instant burst kill on the Magic 8 Ball. Then the Blizzard hasn't been activated yet. It will activate soon after that. And then Spice is ready with the bubble. Uses it at the exact right time to cleanse the freeze off of Prodigy. And then they go in to get that kill onto Chopper. Now after that, of course, they still got frozen and taken down. But they got the double kill. That's all that needed.
Out from the defense. Oh, Chopper, Cool ABC combined for a pair of kills, holding down the flank angle. They weren't caught off guard at all on that one.
Yeah, they will see Nifikins still on the Brigade. They use their rally there, but they'll have 2 tank ultimates soon. They'll have another nano boost fairly soon. Paradox has just been pumping out the healing on this. There's a supercharger that came out. Sleepbird onto lava as well. Don't know what this aggressive posturing is. Probably a similar identity as what they wanted to do on point A.
but Dojo can just back out, avoid the LOS of the supercharged defense, and wait for that Graviton Surge to come online. Spice can combo this Graviton Surge with the mines and have a devastating effect. Bubbles the Wrecking Ball as he goes in. Mines are out. Spice not quite ready with the Graviton Surge, and he gets frozen up, gets walled off. Somehow still able to survive that. Beautiful play coming through the Wrecking Ball. Oh, but that success was not to last very long. Now the Graviton Surge thrown in, finding multiple members of the defense. 3 kills lighting up the feed. Bob thrown in as well. A little bit of a back and forth. I think Dojo do have this, pushing in. Get the cleanup onto the orb. No, the Molten Core kept it off. No, the Torm found. The Turk found 2, Chopper found 2, the Molten Core, enabling Regen to hold on here. What a play.
Yeah, they'll still be able to push forward because of spawn advantage, but that Molten Core, together with Torbjorn, has finished off so many low health targets. First the turret, now Spice gets cut out by this one. That will mean that Prodigy has a quote-unquote free blade. Like, they won't be able to just get frozen, but they can still get stunned, forced out by the turret, accretion. But there's plenty of tools to deny a blade here, especially a natural blade. But Paradox is getting close to a nano again, so the combo can be potentially pulled out.
And with ABC using the Blizzard and CJ throwing the Coalescence at the very end of that fight, Regen are finding themselves with 0 ultimates to hold here, but only 60 seconds on the clock for Dojo to finish off point C. Paradox just waiting to get that nano on. Oh no! Oh no! Economy just hanging off the side. Cool to see. Freezes him, and down he goes. Shep finds a pair of kills. It doesn't matter if they had ult or not. Regen overcoming the deficit and finding 3 kills. One last attack for Dojo to make something happen.
Expecting Dojo to go in with this one and essentially just invest everything, but they shouldn't, right? Like, they should invest what they need to invest, which is basically the Nano Blade and maybe one other ultimate, but they need to have more for the next fight. Now, Nano Blade is in, Graphitic Flux doesn't counter it.
Nope, the Flux missed, and Prodigy, he did not miss. Finds 3 kills, a beautiful bubble to help the initiation, and suddenly half the defense missing. Now Economy going in, just looking for the cleanup, and I like the discipline. They don't throw everything at this. Dojo's smart enough to save some ultimates here for the back end.
Nano Blade by far the strongest combo, especially if there's no Baptiste on the other side that can deny anything with the Immortality Field. They missed both the Molten Core and the Gravitic Flux as a combination on that Nano Blade, though. They wanted to counter.
From the defense was thrown in as well. But neither really seem to get much just yet. Okay, Magic Missile is able to take the Hammond down, and that's a good start. But Graviton Surge thrown in from Spice, trying to counterpunch back. Oh, Prodigy can't quite get in there as Berserky to find the kills. Now Prodigy able to move about. They do still have a Blur and a Brig in the backline that Dojo has to worry about. The Nano, or at least the Blade comes out. Paradox is back in spawn, so there's no Nano to couple with it. But with a 4-man presence, Dojo will complete point C.
And I think the biggest difference in that fight is that Spice, for the first time, doesn't die when they grab. Like, the past few times, they had to expend so much resource and health and like just push aggression into getting the Graviton out on the front line. And this time is the first time they managed to get away with their life and do so much damage afterwards. Because that's the point when you know Spice is at full charge, does a ton of damage, and you need that Zarya to be alive then to enjoy the follow-up of the rest of the fight. So Spice being able to be there and help with the cleanup, help with all that extra damage, is just the key winning factor there.
I couldn't agree more. Spice finally able to put that big charge to good use. And now Dojo going out of the defense. Spice sticking with this Zarya as they look to hold, hoping that pushes.
We sort of expected, right? we sort of know that this is what they want to run now. They've been running it on attack. They're running it on City Center. We saw them running it almost permanently in the last series that we saw them play in. I think a big difference is that Significance is not playing the Ana, and that might have a lot to do with the fact that Paradox used to be playing the Baptiste, and they played Baptiste Ana a lot. But now we do see them on their Brigitte Ana combination. Significance picking up the Brigitte. And we will see a rush comp coming out from the other side. So it's going to be a Lucio Moira rush. Maybe Jade Ball might swap back over to the Brigitte. It's a very real possibility. And Yeah, it's kind of the same thing they were running on the defense just now, just with big difference being the tank line, Lava and Ship on the Reinhardt Diva, as they were running on Oasis earlier as well.
I fear this comp is much better at taking space than holding it, though, especially given the counters that Regen are bringing in that May in the Torbjorn. The Brawl comp just making its way onto the objective.
First pick for free. Yeah.
Yep, first pick for free already. Here comes the second. It looked like Dojo had the same thought, and they were going to use that retake advantage, use the aggression to other side here. But kills are traded out. Woo! Dojo able to find some great picks on the back of this despite giving up half the point.
Yeah, you really see how many resources, especially players like Cool ABC, are trying to expend to not let economy do their job on the Wrecking Ball. And yes, they got a free tick out of that because of the wall. But the wall isn't there anymore. That means the rest of the dojo is going to be very happy to then push in because they can't be split off. They can't be denied healing from Paradox. And it's just an all-around better time for them. Now we will see, of course, the next attack come out here for Regen, but they will have to find a different way of denying the Wrecking Ball space.
Happening through left. I mean, if they just keep getting free ticks, they're eventually going to take the point. Mine's online for the defense, forces the Ice Block out from the main. Coalescing to use from Regen to try to bully Dojo off this objective. They're going to get that kill on the Spy, so that's a very important kill in this composition. Those bubbles so important for this dive strategy. In the end, though, the retake ability is just too good. Dojo executing this to perfection, recognizing their strengths, allowing Regen a little space, and then striking back with a vengeance. Speaking of vengeance, here comes Prodigy with the katana, finds a pair of kills to help control the point once again.
And I don't want to call it a mistake of what Regen is doing, but you do see them expend a lot of resources to get to that objective and to then stay on the objective for that free tick. So they use the wall, the speed boost, like even the Moira Fade, I think, to a degree, and they use all those resources to get on the objective and get that free tick. They have not used any ultimates yet, so they'll have 6 coming up for this next fight, but they've taken 2.5 minutes to get 2 ticks. I mean, they might get the 3rd one here, but it's just taken them a long time.
Paradox with a beautiful anti and something to kill. Spice getting into the mix as well, though. Cool ABC does find that pick onto the Ana before going down. Attackers are 1 man down, so Regen's going to throw the Molten Core, see if they can deny the retake this 3rd and final time. Ship's self-destruct will help in that vein, finds 1, but then Ship loses the mech. Now the sound barrier thrown in. The staggering of the ultimates are very well executed from Regen, but here comes Bob, and they still haven't dealt with Prodigy. Oh my goodness. Dojo doing such a good job on these retakes. It's insane. They
really are, and this time around they played it differently. Dojo had a much more aggressive stance on their defense, so they didn't even let Regen get closer to the objective before they were engaged. They didn't circle around them. They just went head on and tried to force out as much as they could resource-wise. And you see it. Full ultimate use. CJ and Cool BC will have their ultimates, but there's going to be a Grav and a Blade on the other side, and those are just seemingly more powerful. But we've seen Cool ABC pull magic with the Blizzard, so maybe we can see it again.
Maybe, but Dojo's going to be very hard to lock down. It's not like they're just sitting all tight pretty. Oh, well, maybe I spoke too soon. The Blizzard huge. Chopper finding 4 kills with the Peacemaker. Regen finally picking up point A.
Cool ABC, the counter May, has just been so good. When they don't make the offensive play, they make the reactive play. They usually wait for something to happen like a Blade or a Grab, in this case both at the same time, and then throw in the Blizzard on the area of effect to make sure that either the Genji runs away or gets frozen and killed.
Economy drops some mines in the back, and once again, that Genji goes down. That counter play, the reactive play, very well executed once again here from Regen. Now pushing forward, not a whole lot to ults to work with though, and only 2 minutes on the clock.
And it's logical that you play reactive, right? Because what are you going to lock down on their side? They have high ground control, or they're going to be too mobile, or they're going to be far away from you.
Big engine thrown in, forces Chopper out of the fight momentarily. Prodigy gets the nano, but there's no Blade to couple with it. He's going to use that, throw it out some extra damage. Those right clicks so powerful. Now the Deadeye from the back end. Oh, the sleep dart not quite in time. Spice falls from that ultimate. Coalescence thrown in, and it looks, yep, Dojo just going to go ahead and kind of back off momentarily. And Regen all the while pushing this card along. Now Bob comes out. Here comes the counter punch. Economy dropping down, throws the mines over the objective, and kind of right on top of the Bob as well. Lava caught in a bad position, forced to use, oh, the Fortify, not enough to keep Lava alive. The Blizzard finds nothingness, and Prodigy finds 3.
1 minute to go. Not a lot of ultimates in the bank. They'll have their tank ultimate soon, but so will Spice with another graph, Prodigy with another blade, Niffikins with the rally, and Paradox. That all-important Nano is going to be online. Will they throw out another Nano Blade against, you know, maybe they'll get stopped by Gravitic Flux, but that's really all they have to stop them at this point.
Paradox just getting those nanos, I mean, on cooldown. I feel like they're getting more nanos out than I've seen in a long time. Oh, Falls 5%! Having that ready to go. What a huge priority pick coming from Chip. Now Chopper finish off Spice as well. Supercharger from the high ground. High ground's been cleared. Time to move down, pick up the front lines, push this card home.
Yeah, so going to be Economy on the card, of course, in the Wrecking Ball, but it doesn't seem like that's going to last long. They will start being able to pick off this second checkpoint. The second checkpoint is in their grasp, but the Nano Blade will baby deny it.
Perhaps grab some Surge thrown in as well, and 2 kills in fact fall into the Sword of Prodigy. Bullet lessons to end Deadeye coming in from Regen. As the overtime starts to burn, it's time to make something happen. They're feeling the pressure and throwing everything they can here. They're still 2 meters from cap at 7 point. Chopper goes down. Spice charged to the heavens, glowing like a Christmas tree. Finding the kills, winning Dojo the map.
Dojo bring it back after Oasis, where they did look good, just not that good. And it's all up to Regen. Regen have to figure out how to deal with this composition. They have to figure out, how do we deal with the Wrecking Ball and the Genji that get constantly bubbled? How do we deal with the Zarya? How do we deal with this combination of things that they're running? And last time we talked about this, the last time we saw a team play against Dojo, we were speculating a lot. It's like, what does the other team need to do to get this win? What do they need to do to get fight wins in general? Why does this work? And a lot of it, you pointed it out in that last fight before it started, Paradox is charging these nanos ridiculously fast. That means they're doing a lot of healing. Yeah. And then why are they able to do so much healing? It's because especially Economy, but also Spice to a degree, are playing basically to farm nano boost at this point. We've seen this in the past in metas where it was a very big thing during the Moth meta, for instance, when Mercy just got completely reworked and she was really strong, right, where teams would just stand at chokes, take poke, and have Mercy heal them up so they could get the first Mercy ult and just go in. We've seen it done during Double Barrier when Bastion Baptiste was a thing, where teams try to charge the Baptiste ult and get the amplification matrix advantage so they can win the Shield Bastion war. And it's a similar thing that they're doing here at Paradox. They're being able to do so much healing, get basically twice the amount of nanos that they get Dragon Blades, and just win on the back of those, basically the overheal that just exists on their side. So if you want to beat the Dojo, apparently you're going to have to want to beat Paradox. Yep. That's the one you got to take out.
Paradox, fantastic on a play, has tied us up as we head into halftime. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll see you back here on Rialto. Y'all don't want to miss the end of this match. Welcome back, my friends. We are here in day number 6 of the Prospect Cup as Regen and Dojo tied up 1-1. Talking about Dojo being the David to the Regen's Goliath. And if that's the case, I think Paradox is the slingshot that's putting in the killing blow right now.
Yeah, you could. The killing blow will obviously require you 2 more map wins, not just the 1 more. So it will still be quite a task to accomplish for the Dojo, as they say. Regen, though, I think they got what it takes to come back to it. We were talking about it before the break. We were saying their biggest issue is that there's just too much healing being done by Paradox. If you can stop that source of healing somehow, if you can stop them from getting away with that, they will probably be able to deny a lot of what they want to do with that, because their comp is all about situational sustain, where they roll in, use the bubbles, roll away, with both the Genji and the Wrecking Ball, and then in the meantime, they have that more distance fight going on, where they have the Brigitte protect the backline, the Ashe pumping in the damage, the Zarya pumping in the damage with the right clicks, and you just need to able to get on top of them, on top of that backline, and do something like that. So, with that being said, could they just play dive? I think that's a very good option, because they cannot do what they want to do against you if you don't play the static composition. Now, we will see the defense come out of spawn early themselves, of course. Looks like not much of a change. Spice and Economy still on that Zarya ball. Paradox Significance on the Ana and the Brigitte combo. Berserky on the Ashe. But will we see Prodigy on the Soldier? No, of course not. It will be the Genji. Because while Soldier can be a good pick, I think if you already have Berserky from that long range, you need that Genji to be a bit more innovative. It worked on City Center, but that was because they were running the Genji at the same time. We will see the attack come out with a very similar composition that we saw them on before. Cool ABC. Actually, it's going to be different. So Cool ABC was running the Mei a lot of the time. Wanted to shut down that Wrecking Ball and Chopper maybe on the Torpor, but they will be on the Ashe Genji. They decided we're going to play our own game, not going to try and react to what you do with a different weird comp. We're going to react to it in the way that we know how, with the comp that we know how. So, good to see first damage already in, and Chopper posing aggressively on that Genji will not be pooped up by Economy here. And they'll be able to progress this card forward, and they're denying the flanks quite beautifully. Not a lot of contestants coming in so far.
Oh no, and they find that important pick we were discussing. Paradox goes down as Regen enters the courtyard. Chopper able to go and find a pair of kills with their sustain missing. Dojo finding having a hard time to stay in this fight.
And they definitely will. It looks like Regen on their map pick is 100% prepared for what they have to do. Have been denying the flanks, have been progressing nicely, taking the space that they need to, denying the areas that they need to. And now they'll just pick up checkpoint A without any real fight happening. It was just a lot of single pickoffs that led to this momentum.
Yeah, I worry for Dojo on this map without the shielding. It's such a corridor-style map.
Really hard one, yeah.
Yeah, the execution needs to be spot on. Berserky, land good shot there with the Viper. That's a spot-on execution if I've ever seen one. Taking down full ADC. And Dojo tried to control the high ground, utilize that for their explosive attacks, but now they gotta worry about the blade from the other side. Going in, finds Spice. Oh, and Spice is gone, Paradox is gone. The two linchpins of the defense now back in spawn.
It all got opened up by Berserky trying to go for that flank play. I think they were still in the old spawn. They just came out to poke from behind them. And I like that Dojo's doing this. They're trying to really split up the fight, split up the attention from Regen. But Regen just keeps calm. They know what they need to focus on. They need to focus on the thing that comes at them, or the thing that stops them, that stops the card for them. They have plenty of sustain with the double barrier. They have plenty of range damage and close range damage that they can really work with. So they don't need to focus on one Ashe.
Coming out over the back. Regen responds with their flusher. There's the Genji blade, finds two. Prodigy able to dance around the break, takes him down, give the defense the edge it needs to hold this difficult corner.
Yeah, take out both supports, and you pretty much will have won that fight if it's a 6v4 left. Now they can potentially hold on this high ground, which is exactly where most teams want to run. Berserky in that duel with QBC gets the shield help, but will probably have to back off here. Doesn't want to take that risk of just dying early.
And Dojo I think wants to hold this high ground without that shield.
They have to,
They have to make
off angles, everything.
Yep. And
they do get Economy early.
They do! Throwing Economy into the pit. I think he got rocked out of his roll and landed in the river. And Berserky falls as well. Two-man advantage for Regen as they round the corner of death, throwing down the supercharger to help push the rest of the way. Paradox caught in a weird position. In fact, all of Dojo kind of in a strange position up on the high ground and now forced to be the attackers to come back and retake the point. Not a position they're unfamiliar with. Chopper pulling out the blade, though, cleaning up the remainder of the defense.
Looking for the Ana, but I just can't find Paradox. Paradox was actually below the staircase, and they just missed it behind the pillar. We, of course, can see through walls. That's our perk as audience. But, yeah, I mean, Economy was rolling around on their own, but the rest of the team was still on the high ground, and we were on board with Berserky. So we knew that the Ashe and even the Genji of Prodigy as well were not quite that far forward. They weren't really helping out Economy yet. Economy was supposed to be distraction, and then they do their damage, make their move. But they weren't in position, so Economy could just be solo focused.
Economy dove it a little soon there. Bob throwing it into the back, easily dealt with by the attackers. Dojo do still have Nano online, just moments away from the blade to couple it. Will the Flux shut it down first? So Nano had come out, and Prodigy was caught. Now he pulls the blade out with no health. Cool ABC able to finish off. Great play from Regen, and now with a two-man advantage, they're going to push in. They don't have their primary shielding, but they certainly have the numbers advantage. And Chopper with a blade ready to go.
And I'm also really liking the way that they react to that, right? Where they sort of back off. And so far, it's really been some minor timing issues that are keeping Dojo back at such a perfection comp.
Chopper living up to his name, takes down one, chops down two. Magic Mayball getting into the mix as well. Chopper does eventually fall, but your work was done, sir. Now, can the remainder of Regen clean up this respawn advantage? There goes the ball. There goes the third point on the board with 3 minutes left on the clock. My OCD's happy about that one, class.
Ooh, yeah, nice 3-3. 3 points, 3 minutes. Oh, it's just exactly what you want to see there. But yeah, right now it's looking like it's not just the map that is doing Dojo dirty, as they say, but there's something happening in the way they play around each other. They're not able to get the clean initiations off anymore, and it all has to do with Economy, right? Economy, not the old Economy, that's another story, but Economy, the player on the Wrecking Ball, they usually make the first move towards the enemy team. They do something that either distracts or focuses the attention of all of Regen or some of Regen. Right. And the ideal situation is that Economy goes in, Economy does something, and meanwhile, the rest of the Dojo is also shooting at Regen and doing something. So it's the same thing that a dive would often do, right? Where they split the attention of the enemy team, use their cooldowns effectively, and are therefore able to keep cycling, get to the ultimates, and win the fight. But the timing has been off quite a few times. You said it in that last fight. Economy went in a bit early, therefore lost half their health, and while the rest of the team then was like, oh, now we also got to do something, Economy was still being healed up by Paradox. Right. So it's that perfectly synced timing thing that really needs to keep happening again if the Dojo want to keep winning this win this map and this series. And if they're not able to do that, then it's just the same as with any other dive style composition. You will not be able to get the kills off quick enough.
And not able to get the ultimates up fast enough either, which ends up becoming your big win condition if you can't get those kills.
In that case, yeah.
Now, Regen going on the defense, hoping that amazing push will give them the 2-1 edge here in this matchup. So far, just playing very conservative. Regen holding courtyard, waiting for that dive to come in. Oh, Prodigy takes him to the high ground, but no, Chopper up there challenging, keeping the high ground clean. But it's not going to be enough. There comes the rest of the teammates up there. Dojo able to utilize that momentarily, but Cool ABC strikes right back, finds a pair, including the Ana, and well, that's a reset here from Dojo.
Yeah, you see these health bars lower. You see that they are getting some impact. You see they are getting some damage. That's why their ult charge is also not that amazingly far behind. But they're just not able to finish the targets because they're either their timing is off or they're just missing 1 or 2 shots, and their execution that's what it just depends on. Their comp execution is everything.
Berserky making a swap over to the Widowmaker here. Now I'm not so sure about this one. It seems to go against everything else that the comp wants to do. Berserky just looking for that opening pick and make life easier on the rest of the team, but they might be missing some of that explosive power that the Genji provides. Paradox, 85 to the Nano. Or, yeah, they do still have that Genji. I didn't have my glasses on for that one. Sorry, glasses. Train's coming through. 5v5 here on the objective. Now the Nano out on the Prodigy. Can he get the blade out in time? No, it's Chopper, in fact, who gets the blade out, putting the katana to good use. Prodigy does eventually win the duel of the ninjas. And it's even trades here on the point, which will favor the attackers in the end.
It will favor the attackers for now until you get to that actual checkpoint, which is close to the defender spawn. They will take out the tanks late as well in lava and ship.
Yes.
By that time they actually may take out ship, the rest is already back. Might also almost be able to be healed back up by that Brigitte. There will be a Widow v Ashe matchup, of course, here. Cool ABC has to be a bit careful, so does the rest of Regen. So far it's going fine, they're just holding on the bridge, but Berserky with the headshots.
Very nice. Lava going down. The rally not enough to keep Orisa in the fight, who has the only other ultimate available for the defense. Now Imprecise and Blade come out. Prodigy knows exactly where to go to maximize this. Big 3K here for Prodigy on the Genji. Looking for more. Oh, the Baptiste just throwing himself off the side in defeat.
Yeah, will be, of course, defense holding on for quite a while there. There's only 3.5 minutes left in the second phase, and that sounds like a lot, but you can get stalled out, especially on this B point when the high ground control is there for the defense, which it isn't currently. It's definitely in the hands of the Dojo, but that is going to be hotly contested, and at this range, it seems like that's a favorable fight for Regen.
Absolutely, and Supercharged, we're gonna make that even more favorable, but they gotta watch out for Economy's mines. Finds two with the mines. Oh, just getting corralled into death. Here comes Splice up to the top, trying to help clean up the rest. The front line of Regen and drop down to try to contest the point. They do get the kill onto Paradox, but I think it's just a consolation prize. Bob, a last-ditch effort here to try to stall up this point even further. Dojo, where'd you go? Dojo just kind of all scattered to the wind there.
I think they just wanted to go aggressive. They wanted to start getting that space, but then the mob was still in the cart, so they couldn't push it. And that will at least lead to an easy setup for the next fight here for Regen. Not on the high ground, but they'll still have this corner to work with. And they're even conceding the high ground of Dojo.
Flux only finds Economy, but that's a very important pick. You don't have the initiation tool, you don't have the disruption we spoke about earlier. Now they're going to start coming through on the front line. Immortality failed, take it down. Huge anti into the pack. Denies the rally from the other side, devaluing that ultimate immediately, and the Nano Blade makes for an easy pickings here front.
I figured like we said something about an Ana being a key hero on the side of the Dojo.
Yeah, Paradox doing a little bit of work.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't think I talked about that yet, so let's know. Paradox 100% being such a key player right now. The time will not be able to be matched by the Dojo. They were held on first way too long, so they will have to be a bit quick about this last one if they want to be close to this time match. But Cool Chopper is not going to let that happen. Just get the Ghost Dashes and the Blade Slices out. We'll get the 4K in the end. Team wipe, easy clap, and that will be the hold right now on point 3 technically. But still 2:45 to go. The cart is still on B. They're going to do this aggressive hold. They want to buy as much time as they can. This could lead them to like 4 fights that the Dojo will have to win.
Oh, what an aggressive posturing indeed. That's something you don't see very often. Okay, they are going to go ahead and abandon that. The respawn advantage is just a bit too much to find, I think, to make it worth trying to get that extra fight in. Big old Butler coming out onto the back of the objective. Mine's thrown in with the Immortality Field there to help devalue that ult. Does eventually pick up one in the end as the Immortality Field goes down, but Bobby will find a kill. Cool ABC finds one with the Viper amongst that as well. And the defense holding on here with just 2 minutes left on the clock.
The first pick was on Paradox, then you know what that means. Not a lot of healing for that Wrecking Ball. The bubble is not enough to keep them alive, because that's really the combo, right? It's the armor packs, plus Paradox healing, plus the Spice Bubble that is just making Economy so annoying to deal with. Sure, they also get value out of their Hammond play, but just the fact that they're able to do so much with all that health is just insane.
Yeah, not only the immense disruption Hammond provides, but incredible sustain as well with the help from Spice and Paradox, who has another Nano coming online shortly. Rally also available here for Dojo on the attack, but there comes a rally from the defense as well, and Matrix invested into this fight from Regen. Chopper with the Gravitic Flux. Flux is going to come out now. That's going to find 2. The Spice... Oh, he had the bubble, but they cannot survive the follow-up, and with Spice gone, I think this attack is falling flat on its face. Nevertheless, They're going to try to throw the Nano Blade in to bring it back. Is this enough to turn this around? Finds one, finds two. Both tanks fall under the sword. And that might buy just enough room for Dojo to get this cart moving.
I think that's the thing. You don't even win the fight with that, but you win space with that. Because they get those late kills, they get that double kill. There will not be that far frontal recontest from Regen. You see them still posturing that way, but they know they have to back off because their tanks aren't there.
Yep. Talk about losing the battle, but winning the war. It's exactly what Dojo did.
Yeah.
Now, Economy throwing the mines over. Again, buying a little bit more space, forcing Regen even further back.
It needs a big tempo, because time. Yeah.
I'm not sure that they're going to have, even if there was no defense, I don't believe the car.
No, they wouldn't make it. They wouldn't make it.
No, it's going to be an overtime at best.
That's fine.
So here comes the blitz. Chopper throw it in. They don't even want that. Regen wants to win this fight right here and now, and they've got 2 kills to that endeavor. Ant Matrix on the field. Cool ABC and Shep doing him dirty. Paradox falls, and well, Regen taking the 2-1 lead in the series.
I think he actually deflected the Graviton in that last fight.
Did he really? Oh, beautiful.
I think he did, because I saw the ult charge go to 0, and I don't know where it went. I think I heard the voice line as well. So he either deflected it or he killed the mid-cast Graviton, which then doesn't come out, right? But Prodigy still gets that play of the game, of course, for that beautiful blade on point A while they took that checkpoint. But yeah, Regen picks up that map, and deservedly so. Of course, they had 3 minutes left of beautiful OCD time bank. And did a very good job on the defense as well. They finally recognized the way that that Dojo's playing, and Dojo is starting to slip up a little bit. It might be the elongated play time that they're having, might be something else going on, but they're not having that same clear coordination, which is also due to the fact that Regen is sort of catching on to that plan. Yeah. They know that they want to focusing on the Wrecking Ball, and Regen is starting to focus less and less just on economy because they know that that's kind of the only hero they can do that with. Maybe with the Zarya as well, but at least after the Zarya sustain is gone, she can't roll away with the speed of sound. So they're starting to focus on these other heroes, the DPS, the Zarya, the support. And economy is kind of, I mean, they're still doing a lot and they're still being denied a little bit, but not with the hard focus, not with the hard focus of the Mei, though, that we saw coming up before. Cool ABC is not willing to invest that hard. They say, I'm a better hit scan, then I can shut down economy on the Mei. I can do more and shut down Berserky and Prodigy a lot. So let me just play the hit scan. Let me get the value that way. And then we can all focus on economy once the rest is dead. And that seems to be working. You know, it's a good approach.
Working wonders, I would say. And now Dojo forced to play catch up, choosing Hanamura here for our next map. Hoping they can send us to the map 5. Regen choosing to go on the defense here as we head to beautiful Japan. I love the look of this map. I think this is some of my favorite aesthetics in the whole game.
So good, right? I mean, it has that amazing dragon cinematic. Like, I can still hear that voice in my head, you know. There was a story about 2 dragons. You know, it's amazing. It's the best.
And of course, the big collage on the wall, the giant painting on the wall. Yeah.
Slash sword through the banner as well. Yes. But we will see this defense, like you said, from Regen come out first. They're not changing anything. Nope. They think they've got it figured out, and I'd say rightfully so. I think they did actually figure it out in that last map. And on the other side, they have to go through a choke, which is usually very heavily held with a lot of spam, like the dynamite, the hull, the Cretians, the everything, without a barrier, with limited healing and like sustain tools, and you know they have to somehow be able to distract people from that choke. And I think the biggest way they're going to try and do that is send an economy onto that objective, just go behind the enemy team through the window or something. And that way they have to distract, because they can't just stand and choke and fire. That's not what Wrecking Ball does.
I honestly don't like this from Dojo. I think you need to change up your strategy on the attack for Hanamura. I feel like they're really going to struggle to get through here. And Regen, they seem to have them figured out. They know, like we talked about, you focus down Paradox, and this thing seems to fall apart. What you see with 2 beautiful open picks. There goes Paradox as well.
Yeah, and like we said before, I think Cool ABC also really just switching back over to the Ashe, like not playing into the strat that they're trying to do, like just trying to shut down that Wrecking Ball. I think that's been such an important swap, because as much as you can try and shut him down, you'll always invest so many resources into it that you'll eventually end up with something else. Now we see Berserker go over to the Tracer, so it's going to be even more divey than it was before, but that will leave the chokehold a bit more vulnerable, the choke attack.
But where do you stage from on Hanamura? How do you get these DPS? How do you get these players in a position to make a worthwhile dive?
Well, they're there. They are in position.
Yeah,
so,
it's economy. Economy is the answer to that, and they're going to be relying on economy to put forth some fantastic wrecking ball play to make the space needed. Economy able to survive that with just a smidge of health. Prodigy goes in, gets taken out super low as well. They do force out Immortality Field from Regen, but now Prodigy falls. Now Economy falls as well, and that's 2 members of Dojo already back in spawn. Racer trying to still make a presence on this point, but Chopper there to take their head right off.
And then gotten that kill onto QBC, that might actually have been a very good thing, but Paradox is in this high ground with Spice. They're still in there together, and they're just going to leave him there. They don't even want to kill them right now. They're saying, you know what, we'll kill you right before the rest of your team is there, but they've arrived. It's going to be a 4v6 right now. They're in through the choke, and Economy and Berserky are going to be back any second as well. There they are.
Chopper ready with the blade. Immortality, or T, the rally, they're able to keep them alive through that. All that extra armor was too much for Chopper to work through. Prodigy goes down 4% to a plate of his own. Regen throws down the supercharger just to help clean things up. And
though.
Paradox had used the nano boost prior to that fight, before the team had regrouped, and now they don't have it for Prodigy's blade.
Yeah, they used it on a high charge Zarya. Like, that's how they were able to survive in that top room. That's why Regen doesn't just all run in, because they know that even if they win that engage, they lose so many members that the spawn advantage is going to be, or potentially lose so many members that the spawn advantage is going to come in. But it's not even a problem that you can use that blade, because look at this old difference.
Yes.
It is last fight territory, but you've got 4 ultimates who are all able to get pickoffs. Already got Chopper with the pulse bomb. That's a good start.
A very good start indeed. Now the only ultimate from Regen on the field. That's going to net them a pair of kills, though. Both tanks missing for Dojo on the attack. Cool ABC finds the pick on Berserky. Ooh, now, good news for Dojo is that fight was fast. They may get one more stab at this thing.
Yeah, but they're still, you know, they have the supports in that side building. They have to get them out. They will be able to do so, it seems like. That's close, you know. Like, if you don't get them out, what's going to happen then? But we will see this last attack now finally actually coming in. 30 seconds to go. 3 ultimates on the board, close to a nano. And not even a Gridic Flux ready yet. So this might be their best chance ever.
Mine's thrown over the point. Graviton Surge Blade here for Dojo. 18 seconds to pick up point A, or they're going to be in a very tough spot here in this matchup. Nice AC thrown in. There comes the blade. They waited for the nano. Nano is out. Punch goes in, slicing, and Dyson finds a pair. And Dojo finally pick up point A. Here's the overtime wait starts to burn.
Even with 30 seconds left, they still take a very methodical, slow approach. Spice holds onto the Graviton as well. And I do think that the Graviton is going to work so well on the second point. You're either going to be able to walk up top right, maybe combine it with Berserky's Pulse Bomb even, and walk in with the Rally for sustain. They could get an immediate team wipe with that, but they need to be careful about it not being eaten or deflected or anything like that, because it's still a possibility. I think Berserky has gone around the side, so he's in a bit of a different position. He's now behind them on the stairs, so he's ready to blink right up there and throw it in the ground.
There's the Graviton Surge, Immortality Field taken out. The stick is there.
Boom, baby.
The big bang successful for the Dojo. Now Chopper coming in, trying to stall the rest of the reinforcements to get back onto the point, but no! What a play! Paradox showing up. Is able to get the kills just before the bomb comes to contest.
Berserky charging a pulse bomb like in a fight twice in a row, and then holding on to that Graviton, knowing that it's going to be so important to capture point B. It's just the Dojo. I mean, this would be their map, right? They're literally in the Dojo, but that doesn't mean that they can get away with it that easily. It was, as soon as I saw that grab being online, I was like, okay, that's a good play, because there's a lot of places on this map where you can easily do a good grab, either for the retake or, you know, for the hallway upstairs. And then you see that Pulse Bomb online from Berserky, which I really wasn't expecting to be online already, even though it's Tracer. You basically count on it being online every fight. Still needs to happen. just a great job all around, recognizing that combo was there, forcing out that immortality field early, and then throwing in the grab and the bomb combo.
Yes.
And it was just so much to stay with that rally as well. I don't know. The Dojo, they keep showing us interesting and well thought out plays with this composition. And now they switch Berserk to the Ashe. I think that's a natural swap on the defense here. But it just keeps working somehow. And whether that's Regen not daring to go aggressively into that attack sometimes because they're afraid of spice somehow, or what else it is, because they had plenty of opportunities to just walk into that building on the left on the defense and just kill them, but they didn't. So I don't know. Like
Dojo's patience is so good. They're not
but
only hold the
Regen,
graviton, but like you're talking about, taking care of the infield first, taking care of that IF before they pulled out that big combo.
no.
Regen's not out of it yet. Going on
No.
the attack. They want to end this map. Fine tube hit.
Wow.
Picks to start
That's
things
point one, right?
off. That's certainly a step in the right direction here for Regen.
Now it is. Lose one of each. Tank support and a DPS down. There's no way you're going to be able to retake this with 3 members if you're a Dojo. All you got to do is die fast and set up on B at this point.
Yep. Which is exactly
There you
what we're seeing here now. The good news for Dojo, though, is Regen wasn't really able to get enough ult charge to snowball this.
No. But there's also nothing on the defense, right? So they could just go for the heads-up fight, just walk in main. Because, remember, they don't have to. Like, they can walk to the high ground. They will have a stronger sustained presence. They don't actually need to go for the distance fight. That's what Dojo wants. But that's not what they're going to give them. Nice anti-nade, though.
Huge anti from Paradox, as we see time in and time out here throughout this series. 2 kills for the attackers, though. They take the fight in the small hallway and they win it, despite it not being their preferred positioning. You can emerge with the kills. Half the defense already missing. Spice glowing like a Christmas tree goes down, losing all of that charge. Now Regen already with 2 ticks picked up, looking to put up a record fast time here on Hanamura. They just got to deal with the stall and deal with it they do. Look at that time bank.
Yeah, and it will go down a bit because, of course, we had that change come in a few months ago where if both teams have over 2 minutes, it goes down until one of the 2 teams.
Yeah, we're down 18 seconds. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what happened there. It's not a lot, but it's still the 18 seconds, you know. So 2 minutes for the Dojo to try this again. Last time it took them almost 4. So, yeah, not looking great for them. And I do think that Regen last time around was playing a bit too passive on their defense, to be honest. Because they don't need to just wait for the Dojo to finally make their move. Because once the Dojo do make their move, they're usually going to pull it off correctly. You need to disrupt that rhythm, disrupt that timing, put them off of their comfort picks, put them off of their comfort timing and everything. And yeah, again, Regen just wasn't doing it. So now that they're under defense again, they're going to swap nothing. They're going to do the exact same thing they did last time, which is not at all a problem. I think it works.
No, it was execution, not composition.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they're just doing the same thing. But it will be maybe something different from the attack. They might actually go out here to Dojo with a Symmetra strat, which would be beautiful to see. Something we haven't seen them do before. Double barrier with the Mei. And I don't think that they'll see this coming on the defense. I don't think Regen will be set up for this because Dojo has played nothing else all night except for Oasis University once, which is like half a point because they just got destroyed.
And this is exactly what I wanted to see when this map began. Throw them a different look, close the gap immediately, brawl it out on the objective. Teleporting up to the high ground, working around to the back. Dojo planting their feet, getting their sim turrets onto the point, forcing the main block out early. Yeah. Now, burn down. Colibi C, good start. We gotta kill the economy in this fight, though. No, economy goes down. Coalesced out from Nifikins. She tries to keep Dojo in this thing. Not necessarily turn it around till it was a 5v5. Now it's a 5v4. And Dojo, that was
still
perfect.
It's not quite over just yet. There are still a few members online that could do a lot, especially Chopper if he gets the blade online. Could be huge. There's nothing to stop that.
He does. They just ignore the Genji and let him build up this ultimate. Now he goes through, chops down the Moira, chops down the Mei, looking for the Lucio.
Oh,
the Lucio
Chopper.
goes down. Oh, that
Chopper, honestly, that name is so fitting, and the spawn advantage won't even come into play now because no one died before that 3K came out, so the defense will be ready to set up. They will have a few more ultimates in the bank as well. There will be a sound barrier, a blizzard, and potentially a Symmetra wall as well from them. But Spice and Economy, they've given up. They've gone back to this Zarya ball composition, and I get that. They didn't really have any ultimates ready yet.
Dojo had that in the bag, and they just ignored Chopper. They are keeping the sim, teleporting up to the high ground, same rotation around to the back side. Lob thrown in from the defense. Oh, no, Prodigy caught off on the angle there. You can't die, Prodigy. You gotta get that Blizzard out. No! Magic Mayfall there to finish him off. And he got the kill onto the sim as well. Moira not long for this. Royal Knight, there's this assault. And that's going to be a full hold here from Regen. They'll have 5 minutes to get one tick.
The Symmetra teleporter does always feel like that is it gonna work Hail Mary play. It's not quite the Bastion defense, but it's somewhere up there, right? Like, teams will always expect the potential of the Symmetra strat. There's a reason why you don't teleport straight onto point, but to the high ground, because they cannot just jump straight on you when you do it. But yeah, I don't know if they just like ignored the Genji or they just couldn't catch the Genji, because Prodigy was a Chopper was a slippery ninja on that point there. Just went around a lot. And yeah, I mean, in the end, a lot of it is that second fight where they could have definitely done a lot with that Blizzard and that Symmetra wall and everything they had. They do execute that a bit poorly, and I think all of that is really due to the fact that this is not the comp they usually play. They're looking very comfortable on this one thing with Spice and Economy on the Wrecking Ball Zarya, Paradox Significance on that Ana Brigitte, and then Berserker and Prodigy usually on a Genji and some form of hit scan sometimes. Sometimes an Ashe, sometimes a Tracer, this time around a McCree, looks like.
Yes, sir.
And I mean, that's not really a problem, but we've seen the teams that one trick, or at least almost one trick, very sort of unorthodox comps in the past. You know, the Clockwork Vendettas, the Goats, even to a degree the Avoided stuff nowadays. And that has its limits, and you need to be able to flex a bit more. That's why Avoid is doing so well now, because they're able to be more flexible in their one trickiness.
5 minutes for Regen to take this 33%, as they certainly seem to have figured out the one tricks on the other side. Big ante thrown in. Paradox still a force to be reckoned with. Lava goes down. Not the start Regen was hoping for here on their attack.
It's not all bad, though. I think they have time. Just a little bit.
They have plenty of time to work with. They have force free to just sit back, bank up those ultimates, and then make a nice big 6-man push. But it's going to be Dojo leading the way in that regard right now.
They can build them like 2 or 3 times over at this point. Like, they can literally get a six old bank at least twice, maybe even 3 times if they do it quick. Lava maybe not. The Lava is died a bit early, but they still have 4 minutes left. Like, this is what they had for their last attack, and they just blew through.
Wrecking Ball going into the back. Regen ignoring him this time, not giving him the time of day. Gets stunned. Eats about half damage. Those Daffy shields come out. Now Regen focusing their attention back onto the front line. Take down Significance. One of the healers gone. Can they find Paradox? That's going to be your win condition. We're going to get the Amplification Matrix. 2 kills come through. Chopper in the back finds both DPS. Finds Paradox, and that is going to do it. Avoid the mines, and you take the series, Regen.
You have such a good ultimate advantage there for the Dojo as well, but Prodigy doesn't pull out the blade. They don't pull out the Wrecking Ball mines. Like, they just, not on time at least, they don't pull out the rally that Significance had built up, and that's just a shame. Like, if you win that first fight, you know you should be having an ult advantage, so use it. You know you need to cycle through them as the defense. Don't let them get a foothold. And then that first pick comes out, and Prodigy keeps just kiting backwards, doesn't go in, doesn't go for the play. So that's just unfortunate. We see more teams do that, where they're more like passive and more reactive on a map like Hanamura defense on 2CP in general. Right. But unfortunately, that's the death of Dojo for today. Not the death in the tournament just yet. They're definitely not out. Still have another play week to go. And if they win their next match against BNE, They should be qualified. BNE, of course, played Lunaris today, and according to the standings, that should be a match they lost. We could probably get a score on that soon. And that would mean they're actually almost tied. If BNE manages to win that, they might actually have to go into a tiebreaker to decide who's going to be the fourth team going to the playoffs from this group.
Yeah, that's going to be one we'll be keeping our eye on Wednesday as B&E takes on Dojo for that
Yeah.
fourth slot. But Regen moving to 6-0, solidifying their place into the postseason here in the Nocturnal Prospect Cup. And that
Yeah.
last play we saw there, I can't help but feel that Dojo are going to be having nightmares about that 4v2
So many ults.
loss. Oh man, it was just an Orisa and a Genji left on the point, and man, Prodigy. Chopper coming through with that huge blade. Oh my goodness, what a play.
And it's really good. I think it's still a lot of commendation for Regen to recognize that they shouldn't have. They didn't really get that much value out of running the Mei when it wasn't on control,
Right.
because they don't get close to you enough and not as much as they do on control there. So swapping back over to the Ashe, cool ABC, just pulls it way back, gets the headshots, does a lot of damage with the dynamite. And I think that consistent value just eventually pushes them over the edge against this composition that the Dojo is running. But I'm very happy that a team like the Dojo exists. Like we talked about before in the last series, where we see a team like Avoided come in, do so many wacky strats with heroes that you barely see any playtime off, and just run them constantly. And the Dojo is doing a very similar thing where no one is playing Zarya nowadays. It's very hard to find a team that plays it. Ana is getting rarer and rarer as well. And then together with the Wrecking Ball, like, it's a very interesting dynamic.
Yeah,
it can work really well.
Yeah.
But the question is, of course, did those big nerfs hurt them a bit too much lately? Because that extra overheal on the armor, if that's there as well, then economy just lives forever. Like, that just doesn't even matter. And you can give the armor to Prodigy as well. So that's maybe something that hurt them a bit, but it's still a comp that seems to work very well.
Yeah, Paradox, absolute phenomenal Ana as well. They
Yeah.
are a joy to watch, shaking up the meta like
Really
they are. Unfortunately for them, Regen had it downloaded today. Again, moving on to that 6-0. Y'all keep an eye out. Prospect Cup will return on Wednesday, and we will have the final day of group stages. But that's going to do it for us here today. Big thanks to our producers, observers here on the back end. Couldn't do it without your friends. Classy, pleasure casting with you as always. And big thanks to you folks at home for hanging out with us for this awesome Overwatch series. And we'll go ahead and bid you adieu. Y'all look out for each other in game and out. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.